The subtitles used throughout this part of the show also highly resemble the captions from the game, immersing us more in the Last of Us world. Ibu is escorted past the reception desk, and this actually leaked online when the show was in production. She walks past several vaccine advertisements as well, and these are all riffing on the We Can Do It poster. Now the reason why I think Chicago was chosen is because it actually has the biggest flour mill in the entire world. The Bogasari flour mill ranks as the largest on the planet in terms of size and scale, and thus this is likely why they picked here. Now when it comes to how the fungus spread, the game mentions how it got into food, and a flour and yeast factory would be the perfect place for this to happen. Now Ellie very much represents the hope for a cure, and this is shown symbolically with her sleeping under a literal ray of light that shines down on her. Joel and Tess sit in the dark, or as she's anointed, almost like it's a painting of Jesus or something. A butterfly flies over her, and imagery of these have appeared throughout the series so far. Butterflies actually carry their own meaning, and typically they're used to represent rebirth, transformation, and a change in a positive direction. Butterflies went beyond appearing in episode 1, and we could also see one on Joel's guitar, and Ellie even got one as a tattoo. Huge shout out to Devony Maldonado for pointing out that the shirt Ellie wears in the second game is also the one that Joel's wearing throughout these episodes. She's again wearing the same t-shirt that she had on last week, and if you missed that, then we thought it was put on to give a nod to young Nathan Drake in Uncharted 3. She's tossed a magazine, and in the game she ended up coming across some beauty posters which she was completely stunned by.
That girl is so skinny. I thought you had plenty of food in your time.
Well, we did. Some just chose not to eat it.
Now, the entire scene takes place in a beauty salon, which completely f***ed, juxtaposing the idea of beauty against the devastation that the world's now in. Initially, when they talk about how the Fireflies are working on a cure, Joel says he's heard this 1,000 times before, and he's extremely skeptical over it. Now, this could be the show setting up why he does what he does down the line, and Joel eventually gets Ellie to the Fireflies, but he learns that in order to make a cure, that Ellie has to die. Now, tying back to the whole bread thing, it is possible that Ellie was given this because she's immune to cordyceps, and therefore there's no risk of her getting infected. Joel and Tess have to eat those crap bars because who knows what's in the crops, though that might be me going too far. In this scene, Joel also refuses to let her have a gun when she asks. This was mirrored in the game as well, and it was only after the hotel where she saved his life that he started to begin trusting her. Joel shifts a cabinet out of the way of the door, and often you drop these other ones when escaping in order to stop people or the infected coming after you. Speaking of the infected, I was sure I heard the sound effect of a clicker when they open up the door. Now here they make their way alongside a highway littered with cars, and I absolutely love the look here. Really recaptures the game, turning this into an urban jungle where nature has taken over once more. She asked if rumours about the ones that threw toxic gas at people were true, and this is a reference to the giant infected that you run into in the game. Along the way, she walks past a stuffed giraffe toy, and these actually appeared throughout the game at several points. They showed up in Sarah's room, on the ground, and you'd often find them just lying about the place. The end of the first game has a major scene in it in which Joel and Ellie come across them, and it shows that though humanity is doomed, there is hope for the rest of the world. Nature and wildlife has flourished, and it's one of the most memorable moments in that first game. Ellie brings up how she got bit, and this happened in a mall inside the QZ. This all took place in the Left Behind DLC. Anyway, after hearing the cry of the infected, they decide to head into the hotel. In the show, this happens much earlier than it does in the game, with it not appearing until the Pittsburgh chapter. They really managed to recapture the look of it though, with a central stairwell and flooding being present. In the game, you made your way behind the reception desk and could catch a bellboy trolley similar to what we see in the show. There's also a grand piano that makes an appearance, and it's here that Joel talks about his love for coffee. Ellie asks if they've ever stayed in a place like this, and Tess says,
You ever stay in a place like this?
No, a little out of our league.
Now this is a nod to the line in the game when they first enter the hotel.
Whoa, fancy. You ever stayed at a place like this? Before? Don't want to shoot at me?
No, it's too rich for my blood.
Ellie once more brandishes her knife, and this is the weapon that she uses throughout the game. And throughout the game, you'd often see where you needed to go, demonstrated by being yellow. In Boston, they had the golden dome of the state building constantly off in the background, which is something that the show also does too. Now realizing they have no other way around, they go to the museum, which is ripped right out of the game. In there was a wooden beam that fell, blocking a doorway, similar to what happens later on when they get trapped. The game had this separating Joel from Tess and Ellie, and you had to navigate past clickers and the infected so you could catch back up to them. In it, you run into a Civil War display, which is something that also appears in the series as well. It was lined with cases that harboured old muskets and rifles, which are another thing that they perfectly bring across to the series. It was also an officer's uniform, and this appears in the lobby as they step inside. We see the mannequins in the display cases, and these add extra human shapes to the surroundings, really elevating the paranoia and fear in this scene. One appears behind a glass case, and I kinda got flashes of the T-Rex scene in Jurassic Park when they're in the Jeep and the dinosaurs on the other side. The clickers suss them out and it leads to a big fight with two whilst Ellie crawls her way out and Joel uses sound to distract them. In the game, you throw bottles and bricks, but he tips over a statue in order to draw one away. He's also able to keep his flashlight on, and in the game, absolutely none of the infected reacted to light because the fungi just didn't pick up on it. Now as they step outside and she sits down, we can also catch a blood stain on her coat. This is probably where she got bit, and my guess is that the clicker pulled back and then dribbled the blood from his bite onto her. Ellie walks past a plank, and this scene is pulled directly from the game. After escaping the museum, they have to cross one, and we get an almost identical shot to that when she makes her way across the beam. Now Joel also looks longingly at his watch. This brief glance at it carries a lot of meaning, as it of course reminds him of Sarah. Ellie sort of becomes a surrogate daughter to him, and it's almost like he has a moment remembering his old life before it all went to hell. This was very much when the world ended as well, and time stopped for Joel in the exact same second that his watch broke. Anyway, they make their way into the building with Joel still suspecting Ellie might not be the real deal. She has a bandage to cover her bite, and in the game when you'd patch yourself up with a medikit, you could also see bandages like this over the wounds. And also, I think it's worth pointing out that Joel has an assault rifle for this whole episode, whereas in the game, I always saw him as being more of a pistol and shotgun man. Now obviously, I would love to hear your thoughts on the show, so make sure you comment below and let me know. If you want something else to watch, we've got a video linked on screen right now, and if you're watching this right after the show, then I appreciate you staying up late with me, and I hope to see you on the next one. You have a great week, more Last of Us stuff coming, and also take care of yourself. I'll see you next time. Peace.